Modern and ancient people have long known about the Pleiades, or as they call them, Seven Sisters. A small collection of stars in the constellation of Taurus. But this famous gathering could point the way to the oldest story in the world, which was narrated by our ancestors in Africa almost 100,000 years ago. The mysteries lie in the similarities between Greek and Australian indigenous constellation myths, while the Cherokee Indian tribe claims that our civilization originates from the Pleiades. And that the first humans were sent in the form of a star seed with a mission to bring light and knowledge. This is the story of a strange clash of myths and legends about the star system of the Pleiades. The Pleiades are part of what astronomers call the open star cluster, a group of stars who were all born at about the same time. Telescopes have identified more than 700 stars in the region, although most people can only spot 6 on a clear night. Yet cultures around the world often call this constellation number 7, calling them Seven Sisters or Seven Girls. Astrophysicist Ray Norris worked with the natives of Australia and learned many of their stories about the sky, including those from different groups who identify the Pleiades as seven girls chasing the constellation Orion. Who is the hunter in these stories? This story is remarkably similar to that in ancient Greek legends about these constellations. The case is not entirely surprising given that both the Orion and the Pleiades are bright and prominent celestial features. And that because of the Earth's rotation it seems to us that the first are chasing the others across the night sky. Some researchers have tried to explain the narrative similarity by a simple exchange, Norris said. Since Europeans arrived in Australia more than 200 years ago. But such a time frame is not enough to make the story so deeply ingrained in the various distant Australian cultures. But also not only in Australians, but also in cultures around the world that mentioned the Pleiades in an extremely strange context. Norris noticed that one of the seven sister stars known as Pleione is often lost in the glare of a nearby star called Atlas, which makes it invisible to most human eyes. But 100,000 years ago, when people first came out of the African continent and spread around the world, the two stars would be more separated in the night sky. Which is perhaps the reason why the Pleiades in many stories are named after seven beings. In other words, our ancestors who have not yet left Africa first came up with the story. And then they took with them the story of the night sky as they migrated to Europe, across Asia and finally to Australia. Was this how the story of this star cluster spread in all ancient cultures around our planet? Given the sheer number of traditional stories, simple coincidences are likely to emerge between any two cultures. The Pleiades are 444 light-years away from our planet. But despite such a distance, there are numerous stories about the origin of human civilization from this star cluster. In which cultures does this story appear? In Greek mythology, Artemis was furious with Zeus and the mortal Orion. She persuaded Zeus to send a monster scorpion to attack Orion. The hunter died from the sting. After death, Zeus placed Orion in heaven in eternal pursuit of the sisters. And the eternal escape from the scorpion. According to Hermetic traditions, the seven stars open the seekers to a more refined level of consciousness. They see Hermetics as a school of learning. Only those purified from energy blocks to the subtle body. The call of initiations and learning the wisdom of the Pleiades comes spontaneously during sleep or deep meditation. The Pleiades are also seen as a source of electricity for our solar system. A disk of nebula found by treasure hunters in Germany in 1999 depicts a star cluster with the moon and sun. Dated 1600 BC. Researchers believe it may have been a portable astronomical instrument which also displays the Pleiades. In Scandinavian or Viking cultures, the Pleiades were considered as Freya's hens. And Freya is the Nordic goddess of love, beauty and fertility. For protection, some would paint 7 dots on the roost representing 7 stars. Ladybugs were associated with the cluster because of the 7 dots on their wings. The first astronomical mention of the star cluster in Chinese annals dates back to about 2350 BC. And they were called flower stars. Tomb complex of Emperor Wang Hu, founder of the Ming dynasty. When viewed from the air, it reflects the arrangement of visible Pleiadian stars. The tomb is considered to contain great cosmic secrets beyond the golden treasure. The legend of the Cherokee Indian tribe says that we come from the Pleiades and that we came to this world as a star seed of light and knowledge. One group of scientists also claims that beings from the Pleiades are in many ways very similar to humans on Earth. Only they are more spiritually developed than the people on Earth. The Hopi people also believe that their ancestors came from the Pleiades. Places or people who call Chuhikan, or those who stick together, which seems to be a reference to that solid star cluster. Likewise, early legends about the tribe of the Lakota speak of the Pleiades as the abode of their ancestors. The Zuni Indians offer one of many belief systems, if not actual experiences related to ancestors who came from heaven. An expression that then transformed into a newer reference, star people. Going a step back, let us state obviously that the concepts expressed here are pushing the boundaries of what many consider to be reality. Our purpose is only to present an unusual but accurate account of the cultural legends of the past. Some legends are factually true, such as the archaeological discovery of the legendary city of Troy, while others remain unclear. However, numerous testimonies represent modern accounts of ancient traditions. This relatively small cluster of stars has taken on proportionally enormous importance in almost every ancient tradition of cosmology. For thousands of years the planet Earth has been surrounded by a fog of ignorance. But part of reality will be raised as we ourselves ascend to levels of consciousness instead of waiting for some external force to fix things for us. Perhaps we instinctively rewrite the great importance of the Pleiades because we have places for them in our collective consciousness. For now we do not know why, but we may find out how consciousness develops. Thank you for your attention. You are on a Secretji channel, leave subscribe and like if you like the content. See you in the next video.